All right, I'm here with the end of the year Q&A video. So if you're not aware, at the end of my game room tour video, I put a call to action out there for any questions we had, like I've done the past few years. Any questions, throw them in the comments and I will answer them on a Q&A video. So here we are with that. And got a decent amount of questions, but these Q&A videos kind of end up being a little bit of a end of the year kind of wrap up, and also the Q&A with everything going on. So it's a little bit of both there, but always ends up being a good time. So I guess starting up with the wrap up, I guess, before we get into questions. 2023 was, again, another good year for the channel. Biggest year that the channel's ever had. The channel's been growing continually over the past few years. Still obviously a very small channel, but all things considered, really can't complain. I don't do this as a full-time, I have a full-time job. I don't do this as a full-time job. I've never intended to do this as a full-time job or anything like that. Just have been enjoying where we're at with the channel, doing it for fun, doing it as a side thing, doing it as a hobby, being able to kind of just do what I want. Probably biggest regret with the channel this year is obviously the live garage sale videos were a little bit limited this year. Just with everything going on with that, we ended up only having 4 of them. So I got some good garage sale. This was a pretty good overall good garage sale year. But I think just with everything going on, as far as some of my bigger finds were from callbacks, and they weren't from being at the garage sale itself. So it was a little bit harder that way. But still, there's pretty lengthy videos. I think there's one that's like 50 minutes long or something. So would like to definitely go in on that next year and everything. Make sure that I'm doing as many of those as I can. And I don't know, there was just some where I was dumb and I wasn't filming. So I gotta have that YouTuber mindset instead of normal person mindset going into garage sale season. But looking forward to that this year. I think it should be fun. But other than that, channel's been doing well. Always appreciate the comments and everyone watching. Game room tours doing well. I always kind of at the end of the year do that wrap up with what are the main consoles this year, the primary consoles, PS5 collection, Switch collection, then going into everything with game room tour. And those videos seem to be doing pretty well and good reception to them overall. So appreciate everyone watching this year. Let me know, down in the comments, I guess, before we get into the questions of what videos you'd like to see going into next year. What videos you'd like to see just in general, what videos that you like or that stood out to you from the last, year or so. Would be interesting to just kind of know what you guys would like from me doing moving forward. I'm not going to make any promises I'd be able to do it, but in the months where there's not as much, consistent content, I'd like to try to still do a weekly video. But in the months where there's not as much, consistent stuff to do for pickup videos or whatever, I always like to have a nice bank of ideas of stuff to cover. So let me know what you're thinking there. But I'm going to jump into the questions. We got a good amount of questions this year. So I'm going to jump into them and see where we're at everything. So Dr. DD-EY writes in and says, nice collection. I just have 2 questions. Do you use surge protectors / power strips, and do you recommend any? Yeah, I do use surge protectors and power strips. I use some from Belkin. I will put the link to them on the Amazon link to them in the comments or in the description. But for some reason, when I was looking into this earlier, they do not allow you to do affiliate links for the power surge or power surge protectors. So I won't make any, money off of that, which is fine. I don't care. The Amazon affiliate thing has always just been a little bonus thing. Because it's if I'm gonna link some stuff, if I'm gonna link you to Amazon anyway with the shelves and everything, I might as well get a tiny kickback from good old Bezos and the boys over there. So yeah, I'll put that in the comments below. I use power strips and surge protectors just because it's almost impossible not to. Just with my setup, having so many consoles plugged in, I'm just thinking of my HD setup where it's 2 PS3s plugged in, Series X now, and Switch and PS5 and Wii U still plugged in for God knows what reason. 360 and all that. It's yeah, I'm going to need a surge protector for that. But also, it's just, TVs plugged into that and everything. It's just smart too. I've actually had, power surges that killed the surge protector. So the surge protector did what it did, was supposed to do and didn't, ended up destroying something that actually mattered. So I would definitely recommend having them, and it's also just kind of a necessity. Where it gets harder a little bit is with retro stuff, just because there's so many big power bricks and stuff. You know, you want to have a Sega, Genesis CD32X setup. Good luck trying to fit those on a surge protector. But yeah, I will put those in the description in the comments. And if I somehow forgot to, just leave another comment, and I will. Next question from beloved Monster Hunter YouTuber Sky85. Game room looking exquisite. Thanks, brother. Here are my questions for the Q&A. Those shelves look so good. Where can I get those? Boy, do I have something awesome for you. It's called the links on every video for the last few years. I put them in the affiliate links in the description. And just to talk about that for a second, I do that because, it does get the kickback, but also just because it is helpful to have some of that stuff there. And the kickback is very minimal, so it's not like I said, I'm not making bank off of it, but it's just one of those things you might as well. But yeah, I put the shelves and everything in the description. I also have like a link to XYAB, like a discount code. I have some kind of discount code with them, so you guys will get a discount. And I never really get to talk about them, but I really like them as like they're not a sponsor or anything, but I really like them as like a supplier of aftermarket stuff. Their stuff's been really high quality when I get it. They're actually out of Ohio, so I get it like next day pretty much. And yeah, I mean, I've gotten PSP batteries, chargers, cables, and the stuff's good quality. I don't have any problem with it. I mean, it's aftermarket, but it's good stuff, and it's good for pairing up when you sell stuff on eBay or whatever. So just a little side tangent there. Why is your TV too high? So this last year is a joke because some guy got mad at me because my TV was too high in my game room, which I really don't feel like it's too high. Like, I don't really know. This is sounding like I'm seething, and I'm not, but I don't know how you judge if someone's TV is too high in a video. It's not like, my TV's mounted, I've seen some of this like r/TV too high stuff on Reddit, and there are some abysmal TV placements, but like, I don't know, like it's pretty comfortable height for where I sit and everything. So I don't know, but TV's not too high. I object to that. Maybe I already asked this question before, but have you considered streaming any of the games you have in your collection? You actually did ask this question last year, Sky85SR. Before commenting in the future, make sure you rewatch the entire Q&A video from last year before doing that. And that's only for Sky85SR, by the way. So streaming, I would like to get into streaming more. It's just one of those things where it's like I don't always have the time or energy to really to stream. It's just kind of a pain to set up, but I do have a capture card and I have stuff. I have like a selection of games that I think would be funny to stream, and maybe I will stream them. Previously, I was just hesitant in streaming because it starts to clutter your channel, but now YouTube has shorts and live and videos all in different categories on the channel, so I'm kind of back on board. But I did stream Sonic Frontiers last year, kind of to dabble in that. And yeah, like I do, I have some random games I would like to stream, retro stuff, more modern stuff. There is some random stuff I would like to stream at some point. It's just a matter of, doing it. And I would like to know, I guess, what you guys think of me streaming as well, if anyone would tune in or anything like that. I stream the Nintendo Direct sometimes, I get some, decent viewership for that, and I did stream Sonic, but I'm not a streamer. I've never really done it too much. Iron Lung 6316. 16 at the end now, Iron Lung. Are you ever planning to display N64 controllers with the system? So I have my Fantastic systems like all up on display, but I don't have the purple one yet. Yeah, I would like to display the controllers. I'm missing the control. I have a purple controller. I don't have an orange controller, and I don't have like the smoke gray controller. But I would like to get like controller stands or something to go with them to pair them up, because I think that just is a nice aesthetic, a nice look. So yeah, at some point I would like to display the 64 controller with the systems. Philip writes in, how video games? I don't know. I agree completely. I wish I knew the answer too, but I just simply don't know. Paul writes in, am I the only one who has potato skins for dinner? I mean, I've never had just potato skins for dinner, but as long as you're getting what you need out of it, bud, I don't know what else to tell you. I hope there are better days ahead for you, though. Joe21795 writes in, curious on why you collect Japanese games. Are you fluent in Japanese? No, I'm not fluent in Japanese. Collecting Japanese games is just kind of something fun. A lot of games you can play without knowing Japanese. a lot of retro stuff especially. But I also just like to collect stuff mainly I like when I go over there, stuff that looks weird or bizarre, that we never got. The main thing I target is stuff that we never got over here, for one reason or the next. But I also like to get stuff that from series I like that we never got over here. I collect games that we get a physical copy in Japan only and not in the United States. So I like to try to get the physical copy in some way. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just collecting mindset, I guess, in general. Just like, oh, I'd like to have this. This is interesting. This is cool. And maybe it's not something we got over here. So that's really the main thing with it. A lot of this stuff, I wish, I had the time to learn Japanese. I don't have the inclination or the time really in any major way. It's quite the undertaking. But I don't know, just because it's fun. I guess the answer short is it's fun. I like, I've been to Japan twice, and all the games I have that are Japanese I've bought in Japan for the most part, except some stuff I've imported, like newer stuff, but all the retro stuff I have is Japanese. And a lot of it is N64, because I would like the full, complete N64 set. I'm pretty close North American, so I thought, why not get the Japanese exclusives as well? So that's just kind of the reason, just fun. What consoles did you grow up with? Handheld and console systems, asks Mario Kart. So my first system I got was like this hand-me-down from someone at my mom's work that was a Sega Genesis, with a handful of games. So that was like my first experience with games. And then from there, I got that when I was like, I think 4. So from there, then I got Game Boy Advance SP for Christmas one year, and then I got GameCube the next year. And then kind of those were like my early systems, and then I saved up my money, and when it was in 2007, I bought a Wii, and then kind of those were, I got a DS as well too, so kind of growing up with that. And then I switched, I guess the history then was like all Nintendo almost, except for the Genesis. And then I got a Wii, and then like 2012 came around, Wii was like pretty much dead. So I got a PS3, because I wanted to, I was in high school at the time, so it was like, I want to play stuff other than Nintendo now. And then just from there, a lot of it's just come from buying stuff, keeping up with games, and just looking at, what's, what I'm getting at garage sales and everything. So lost my train of thought there, but yeah, that's it. So those are the consoles: Genesis to GBA to GameCube to, I guess, Wii. Kind of the last of like childhood, I guess, and then going into being a teenager and everything. Can you tell us of a time when a yard sale deal went bad? From Lars Higgs 2514. So this happens, frequently. It just doesn't make for good content. Most of the time when a garage sale deal goes bad, it's because it's a person saying, oh, I'm gonna have to call my kids and see if they want to sell it, or which is fair. It's I don't want anyone selling their kids' stuff without their permission. I do, but I understand why they wouldn't. Either it's that, or it'll be someone's like, oh, I got to look this stuff up online, and then they look it up on eBay, and they all of a sudden want the eBay price for their untested, uncleaned video games that are not quite eBay condition at the moment. So those are the main ones. A lot of times where I just don't seal the deal. Where someone's like, oh, I'll get back to you, I'll look for this stuff. I mean, 90 times out of 100, when I get a hit on like someone saying, oh, I have video games, it's them being like, I don't know where they are, I'll get back with you, and then no one ever gets back with me. So a lot of garage sale deals mostly don't go well. But you get your good ones probably 1 in 10 times, and sometimes they're really good. But I've also had some other times where I bought a bunch of stuff and then didn't look too closely at like disc condition, so a lot of discs were messed up. So that definitely hurts the value a lot, because then you're putting in extra money for resurfacing and everything. So that's like a time where I've had a few times where I'm like, oh, that was a good deal, and then I look at the discs and I'm like, ugh. Or like when you buy some consoles and you're like, I'm really hinging on this console working, and it doesn't work, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not going to quite make my money back on that one, but I'll still keep some stuff. But yeah, yard sale deals go bad, but I mean, I haven't had anything like catastrophically horrible where like I have this great deal lined up and then it doesn't happen or something. Like they rip it out of my hands and then push me down the sewer grate or something. Never had that happen, at least. This one I just thought was interesting. Not exactly a question, but like this person asks, A88 Pockets asks, sometimes I wonder why you guys don't just mod your consoles and get the whole collection on an external hard drive. I mean, I guess this is like the nerd answer, but I mean, it's not legal. I mean, that's the first thing, and no one cares. Like, no one on the planet cares about, you know, downloading ROMs of old games or whatever. But that's one of those things where I'm like, you guys realize it's not legal, and I realize it's like speeding. No one cares. You know, you're not going to get really any problem with it. But I mean, that's part of it. But also, I don't know, game collecting, part of the collecting is just part of the fun is the collecting aspect of it. Like, it's not all about playing games. I'm sitting here by my Super Nintendo games right now. I'm not sitting here playing Super Strike Eagle all the time. But the fun part about that is, I have that, and I remember I got that for $5. This guy sold me this nice bundle of Super Nintendo games, and a lot of them were in the box, and there was Star Fox in there and stuff. A lot of the fun for me is kind of looking for game stuff, and a lot of the fun is from that. And I also just, like the original hardware. I like having the setups and everything. I mean, I could sell all this and have a nice sum of money in the bank, and play everything on a, external hard drive on a computer, but it's just not where I want to be with it right now. So, I mean, that's the answer right there. And I'm not saying this person's saying this, but I can't tell you how many times I've got comments where it's this big gotcha. The person thinks they have a huge gotcha moment where they're like, holy crap, dude, you could just get this all on an emulator, right? And it's like, oh no, how did I never think of that? I've surrounded myself with all this plastic, and I could have just got it on an emulator. Like, wow. So, I mean, that's just one of those things too, where it's like, and I'm not saying this person's trying to do a gotcha moment or something, but it's one of those things where I'm like, it's not all about playing the games. It's also about, the fun of it, of finding stuff, the fun of everything like that. So that's just kind of part of it. So yeah, I mean, those are all the questions there. I just checked. That's all the questions for the Q&A. So I appreciate everyone who wrote in. I appreciate all the comments that didn't have questions as well. And yeah, that's it for this one. Next week will be best games of 2023. I'll do my top 10 favorite games that released in 2023, and we'll be continuing the weekly weekly videos for a while. So like I said, like to hear some input of where you guys would like to see the channel go in 2024. We would like to continue to keep it going. I don't, I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers where it's like huge plans this year. It's going to be an amazing, level up the content. It's going to be an amazing year. No, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I would like to always get feedback and what you guys would like to see, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I appreciate the channel growing and continuing to grow. So yeah, that'll be it for this one. I appreciate everyone for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, I'd like to thank you.